And again, we have Ford playing once more, but now it's versus Micky. And we see an appearance of Fletchling, which I am pretty excited
Oh
for.
shit.
I do remember that last week Micky just got straight up ran over by Sun. So it kind of signifies to me that Micky maybe didn't know how to use his own team's cores and strengths well, whereas Ford has displayed a very good understanding of how his own team wants to function. It does look like um, he's aiming for a lot faster game plan because you do see a complete lack of both Wheezing and the Vegigigas on his team this week. Uh, so I think that with a lack of Wheezing and Regigigas, you see Toadscroll. That signifies to me that it's going to be very much used as a redirection bot. Rage Powder so that he enables stuff like his Registeel and Articuno to set up, and he has like possibly double tailwind uses, so it's looking towards like a fast setup offense. Whereas Micky again has his usual possible game plan of beat up Terrakion, fast tailwind, just general decent odds. We see a Fletchling and Articuno lead versus a Kilowattrel Terrakion. This lead is probably very good for Micky in the sense that I think the Fletchling is able to get the priority tailwind off, but considering that
Beyond
it's,
that,
considering that it is a Ghost Terra from the Terrakion, barring this once again being a Specs Articuno clicking Terra and just one-shotting Terrakion with a psychic move through the Terra, I think it's pretty safe for Micky to click Tailwind and Rock Slide. Whereas,
yeah.
yeah, I think Fort has to hope. Like, I'm really just hoping that Fort has a boosting item or like is somehow just with the Psychic Terra able to OHKO one of these humans because and also he has to hope that whichever mon he tries to target with his move to try and knock him out in one, that they don't carry a focus sash because both these mons are perfectly capable of running the sash. Although like you do know that with Micky's team, a bunch of his mons like to run sash, like Ambipom like sash, Kilowattrel like sash, Terrakion can like sash. If it's not a recipient of beat ups from Ambipom, even the Chandelier can run sash
Yeah,
in his team.
for
So it's
sure, for
really about
sure.
like
Yeah,
getting information
Hermons.
of what is
Hermons are
sash.
pretty good for this one.
Oh, Mickey's hurt.
Well, you can see the
All right.
really cool drip on the avatar too.
I run female
Mikey
avatars all
through.
the time. It does not matter to me. I'm not looking at that.
In this case, it matters.
That's
Fort Keller's
also
also has a
Oh.
picture of himself as his Abby.
that's
Okay.
crazy.
Oh, okay. That never. Dude, because whenever I hear the name Mickey, all I think is Mickey Mouse. And that is very clearly a guy. So, okay, apologies. I guess. Is Mickey supposed to be a gender neutral name? Is that a real
Yeah,
thing?
actually.
It definitely, yeah. I
Really?
think what
I've never met a girl named Mickey.
I mean, I don't know if this
Crazy.
is the case, but can it be short for Michelle in instances? Is
Yeah.
yeah.
No, the only short form for Michelle I've ever heard is Mish.
I
I've
mean,
met
that's
female.
a. I mean, frankly, that's a unique short for Michelle, as far as I'm aware. I've never heard that except for the person Mish.
Really? I've heard
That I
Mish a
know,
couple
so.
times. Okay, but okay, we're getting distracted. Let's look
Yeah.
at turn one.
Yeah.
Okay. You see, oh, a protect? Expecting okay,
That's
the
fine.
fusion
I
of Terra,
assume
but
it's yeah. I assume that's
yeah,
the play.
okay. I
I
mean,
think that's a generally good play because
I think
I
that's
think
yeah, it was fine play. I do think that uh it is like making a hard read that the Articuno isn't just gonna Terra and target the Kilowattrel, is it? But that could
yeah.
mean that the Kilowattrel is carrying the sash this game. Because if the Kilowattrel is carrying the sash, then that play was completely fair and valid. But yeah, now you do see that both the Terrakion and the Kilowattrel have a complete lead over these two because Fletchling kind of does nothing outside once it sets up Tailwind, and now these mons are just equal like fastest speed within Tailwind, and threaten both these mons with stab super effective moves. So this is a very terrifying position for Fort. after getting the turn 1 wrong. So you see an
First
instant
one,
switch
yeah.
out. Yeah, and either maybe aims to sack the fledgling or is forced to double switch, which
I'm a
I
little bit
think
scared. I'm a little bit scared Fort might might catch a maybe not hurricane. I'm a bit scared Fort will catch a
okay.
hurricane to the face here, but
I don't think so.
that's probably
It's probably just gonna be like a T-bot
Walrus
rock slide
people,
if I
but
were to guess.
I don't know. A
Yeah,
guy like me clicks hurricane into that slot, low key.
yeah. Thing is, I will say that like I think it's fine for Fort to leave the fledgling in. Normally, when you have
Yeah.
a kind of like a utility mod on the field, you're a bit worried that the opponent won't target it. But the fact that it's a Terrakion most likely means that it's packing Rock Slide, and Rock Slide, unless it misses, it's kind of forced to like take out the
Yeah.
fledgling automatically. So I think that was it's
I think
completely
that's
fine to
fine.
lose it.
My problem also is it's honestly really fine for Micky too, for the fletchling to just be left out.
Yeah.
Because if I'm Micky
Yeah,
here,
no,
I am not worried about the fletchling really at
oh no,
all.
I'm saying this like yeah. Normally, it's like the on in Mickey's position, I would just not touch the fledgling and play a 2v1. But the problem is that she might not be able to if she's just clicking Rock Slide with Terrakion because it automatically targets it as a sprint move.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, but you do see that
Oh,
for
that's
ops to
me.
double switch, the electric move does get clicked into the Toad Scroll, and you do see
Yeah.
that Fort has opted to bring double ground type into the Kilowattrel, and the double flying is patched up by a double ground, which resists both the electric and the rock moves that would be targeted towards the flying type. So interesting brings from Fort, and looks like he has managed to reposition somewhat, but I don't think that this like while he does survive this first turn of Tailwind, it doesn't necessarily put him in a much better position because once again, unless there's a scarf on a crocodile, both of these mons just outspeed both these mons. Toad Scroll,
Yeah,
while it
Toadstool
is
might be
pretty
fast
bulky,
enough.
uh,
I don't. I
no,
think it's this
both these
100.
mons can, yeah, both these mons can outrun the Toad Scroll if they want. So
Yeah.
while the Toad Scroll is probably not going to die to a single hurricane because it's pretty especially bulky, it's not going to be able to live a double up from hurricane plus close combat. In fact, there's a decent chance that close combat from Terrakion is able to knock out the Toad Scroll from this range because it's pretty bad physical defense. And so Terrakion is incredibly threatening to both these mons once more. And yeah, it's on Fort to either make a prediction to protect one of his mons to put himself in a better position versus Terrakion, or is forced to like play passive once more. You see a Rock Terra from the Crocodile, which notably is still equally weak to the close combat from Terrakion, but it could mean that it might be Scarf trying to take out the Kilowattrel. You see, you see a protect from Terrakion scouting out maybe a Scarf, which
Yeah, Scarf Crocodile.
it does look like it is Scarf Crocodile with Terra Rock, considering it does outspeed the Kilowattrel. Let's see if the Rock Slide takes it out in one. Oh,
Oh,
and it misses.
big mess. Yeah, that
Okay,
Womp
really
womp.
yeah,
sucks.
that's a terrible position because now, barring a Rock Slide flinch, Air Slash into this slot and close combat into this slot looks very free. The Crocodile cannot protect because it is Scarf. And yeah, once again, these two mons outspeed these two mons. And I don't think that I mean I am presuming that Mickey's Kilowattrel is Sash and therefore would lift the Terra Rock Slide. If, however, the Kilowattrel isn't Sash and does die to the Rock Slide in one, which would surprise me, but then after a Rage Power, the close combat would be redirected in towards the Toad Scroll, and that could allow the Crocodile to attack again, while the Fletchling can come in once again once this turn of Tailwind ends, and then Fork would have the perma speed advantage from there. So you see Rock Slide missed Terrakion, but it does OHKO the Kilowattrel, which doesn't have.
Okay, not Sash.
Oh, but you do see that it doesn't choose Rage Powder. You can see if Toadstool is attacking the Terrakion this turn.
Oh,
Opts to
there's
set
Trick Room.
the
Okay.
Trick Room instead,
That
which
is
is
pretty nice for 4, yeah.
I'm not entirely sure if it is nice for it because once again, like I said, the Killer Watchel did have a I think it was gonna die that turn. I mean, okay. No, yeah, no, because the Killer Watchel will either have died the turn, or if it had Sash, it would have lived, killed Toadstool anyway. So I do think that like having Fletchling come in after would have been fine. And then
Yeah, I guess that was true.
not sure because like there is a chance that like the Chandelier is just underspeeding this Articuno, and now you've just set up Trick Room for the opposing Chandelier for no reason.
I think Rage Powder
Okay.
probably is just the better play outright.
I mean, Rage Powder is is a good play here, but the Chandelier could just click Heat Wave.
No, last turn. Last turn instead of Trick Room.
Oh yeah, last turn. Oh yeah, I think last turn either you Rage Powder or you click an offensive move if it's carrying
Yeah.
it with either of its stabs into the Drakion.
I also high key want to mention the fact of the Crocodile not being Intimidate. That probably
Yeah, it's Moxie.
Yeah, which I don't. I'm not
mean-
really a big fan of Moxie and VGC, but
Probably
I-
because of the competitive on the kilowatt roll.
that is fair.
That's one thing, and also I do understand this like being Scarf and Scarf Rock Slide.
Yeah, Scarf
can be
Moxie
like,
is fine.
if the Crocodile is able to come
It
in
gets
to a
going,
position
yeah.
where the mons are weakened and it can constantly pick up KOs with Scarf Rock Slide.
Yeah, I assume that's kind of the point of it. Just gets going into stuff like the kilowatt roll, stuff like the.
Considering you want to do that
Chandelier.
though, protecting it instead of letting it get murdered by close
Yeah.
combat is even more.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I do agree. But okay, you do see the Rage Powder come out in this turn, and Micky opts to click Shadow Ball instead of a fire move, which to me is screaming a bit of a lack of awareness of the game position because it's very clear that Toadstool has nothing better to do other than click Rage Powder because it's naturally fast with its base speed, and its Mycelium Might means its status moves have negative priority anyways. So it's probably gonna die to whatever move comes out from the Chandelier. So I do think like unless there is no heat wave on the Chandelier or like no guaranteed fire move to take it out, clicking Shadow Ball is a pretty gross misplay. But we'll see if that ends up mattering. Recent Claire. Old Coast Chandelier, which speaks to me that I do believe that the Articuno is once again probably choice specs.
Yeah, I believe it
Because
is.
it's picking up it's picking up a KO on a neutral move. And Freezing Glare isn't like particularly strong, I believe. Like, also I want to say that like it's pretty shameless that Ford is choosing to run Freezing Glare. Over like I guess the same base power as Psychic, and well, it having a free challenge is so cringe. Like if you've ever seen Freezing Glare actually get a freeze, it's cringe. Like it's really cringe. But I guess like why would you not run it? So yeah, okay.
Yeah, like if you can, fuck it.
Yeah, I mean the rocks like does come out, and you can see that if the Chandelier had the heat wave and the heat wave did connect on the Articuno, it probably would have died. So yeah, if the Chandelier didn't have heat wave, then I could understand it. But like, even if the Chandelier did have a fire move and just took out the Toad Scroll, the Rock Slide probably would have killed the Articuno because it's no longer a spread move. And if you don't know, spread moves do like 75% damage when both targets are on the field. But if it becomes a single target damage, it does full damage. So Rock Slide totally would have killed the Articuno if the Toad Scroll didn't live on 2%. So Micky not opting to kill the Toad Scroll with Chandelier is really biting her in the butt right now.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, because now we do see like what looks to be a relatively useless fletchling and Articuno Galar. I mean, I presume Micky should still have this first game because I don't see a way for it to get through the Magna Zone because it's looked like it's choice locked in freezing glare, barring an actual freeze into the slot. But then Terrakion shouldn't be able to die to the fletchling, and Terrakion should be able to take out Articuno. Yeah, I think Micky has this game locked up. Okay, yeah, Thunderbolt just outspeeds it anyways.
Yeah,
Taunt
that
goes
should just,
into that. Yeah,
Fletchling versus the
actually-
world here.
Yeah, Fletchling is never winning this.
I believe in
Or-
Fletchling, actually. Nah.
Flo-
Yeah,
and-
protect.
yeah, and Fort tries to install out his own trick room, and it proves to be ineffective. And so you really are seeing that, like, Fort's decision to set up trick room, which I didn't like at a point in time, proves to be a pretty big misplay because he could have just like got speed control guaranteed with his fletchling after. I don't necessarily know if it would have won him the game, considering that he did greet once again with choiced Articuno Galar, which I'm just generally not a fan of choice items in VDC as much because it does make you pretty abusable depending on what move you're clicking and locking
You just
yourself
have to be more
into-
careful what you lock into.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, especially like if your choice one, I think it's okay to use the choice, especially if it's choice ban or choice specs mon early to try and break. But if having it in an end game, you can very often find yourself in unfavorable positions where you don't have any good moves to lock into, considering that you don't know what the remaining mons of the opposing team is. Like you see, like it did pick up the nice one at KO into the chandelier, but I don't think there's any move that the Articuno could have locked into that would have beat the Magna Zone in this endgame. So once Micky managed to clear both ground types, the Magna Zone always won. So yeah, we'll have to see how Fort adapts. I do think that it's probably gonna be some sort of, I was gonna say like there might be a adaptation to bring Registeel, but Registeel looks really unbringable with triple Ghost Terror plus a natural Ghost in Chandelier. And usually Registeel, especially with Terror fighting, is signifying some Iron Defense body press stuff. But it looks like every mod on this team is kind
So
of
much is just fighting.
yeah, which
It's not fighting. Yeah, I mean, I understand.
yeah, all Ghost Terrors.
I understand the
It looked
ghost.
to me
It's a
like
little excessive.
all this looks like it's kind of like it was meant to be prep versus the Regigigas clicking like
Yeah, just
normal moves into the team. But it does work very well into this whole plan of Iron Defense Registeel. So Fort's adaptation, like other than like bringing Cleaver over one of his other mons, just has to be like, setting up his mons to be in a better position, maybe prioritizing staggering Tailwind. But yeah, that looks the game plan looks a bit rough. It looks a lot more unpolished than what he brought into Lit 11 in week 1.
Well, I believe that they played these games in the opposite orders, so Fort actually played this game first.
Yeah, I do think I remember that, but also, I mean, Ford had the whole of week 1 to prep for the, and he also had as much time as he wanted to prep for Micky's game. So, I mean, he didn't have to play this game before it, and Ford also like had as much time as he needed to prep for this game as he could have had for Lit. So, I don't think it's a real excuse because like you have a whole week to prep. It's up to you how to you to
Yeah, I
use how
don't
much
think it's an
prep.
excuse. I just think that it looking more polished next week is just Fort knowing his team better.
No, but I do think that like Fort just is more comfortable with the actual wheezing portion of the team. Because like I said, I do believe in tiers making that I said when your team has a very clear game plan, it's easier for newer players to focus your team around the game plan, and that helps with your prep and play a lot because it streamlines everything. It also means your team is easier to prep against, but sometimes it's just better for you to know your own play and plan to a T. Well, instead of trying to like both come up with a game plan on the fly while also trying to figure out what your opponent's trying to do. If you're a good player, then it won't matter as much, but for newer players, it's so much easier to just have a set game plan and then just spend your brain cells on figuring out what your opponent wants to do. Yeah. We once again see the fledgling Articuno lead, and instead of a Terrakion, we see a Slitherwing, which is carrying booster attack.
This is very dangerous for the psychic mon on the field.
Well, it is a flying type as well, so it's not necessarily weak to the bug move. But what can happen is that Micky can completely opt to just take out. We do know that Fletchling does carry Protect, but if Fort has to be worried somewhat about if he doesn't opt to click Tailwind, a first impression plus electric move could just KO the Fletchling immediately. He would probably get a KO back with Articuno, but that also means that he would have to play without Tailwind for the rest of the game. And I mean, it does look like if he's bringing the Terrakion in the bag, that if she is bringing Terrakion in the bag, Micky would have an inherent speed advantage once more. So the Fletchling is sort of forced to make a prediction, like, do I protect, considering that I could get hit by first impression, lose my Gale Wings, and then be no longer have the priority to set up Tailwind before Kilowattrel kills the Fletchling. Or if you protect my Fletchling and try to take a move with Articuno, Kilowattrel, like Articuno is probably not carrying Protect, so it could either get targeted by the Kilowattrel, or Kilowattrel could just aim to set up Tailwind. So it's somewhat of a guessing game. I do think that Fort should just aim to click Tailwind with Fletchling and Psychic move into the Kilowattrel, because we do see that Kilowattrel does not have a Focus Sash, and it did die instantly to the Rock Slide, so I don't think it's running much bulk at all. So I do think that Specs Freezing Glare should be a knockout. Knock it out. Yeah. We see the first impression go straight into the Articuno. Tailwind comes out. Ancient Power is the click instead. Okay, again, once again, that comes with being probably choice locked. The fact that Ancient Power actually kills, but unless you're going for a specific, like, are you just going for the Hail Mary Omni boost? I do think Freezing Glare is equally as strong as it, because Ancient Power is 60 base power times 2, you get 120 base power. But Freezing Glare is 90 base power with Stab. It's also 120 base power. So your Freezing Glare is equally strong into the Kilowattrel, but it's way stronger into the Slitherwing as well. I'm trying to figure out if it's the Kilowattrel would have died to the Psychic move either way. It didn't have a resistant Terra. So perplexed as to why the Psychic move wasn't clicked. Maybe Fort just didn't register. I just saw, super effective move. I must click into the Kilowattrel. But yeah, Freezing Glare would have gotten the KO regardless. Either way, at least the Kilowattrel doesn't manage to get off the Tailwind and just dies in one. While the Slitherwing went for first impression and failed to pick up the Articuno. So yeah. Again, the first impression, if he had gone to the Fletchling, the Kilowattrel probably would have been able to pick off either one of these mons before the Tailwind even went off. But he either didn't respect the first impression play to remove Gale Wings, or just figured that Micky either wouldn't see the play or just wouldn't be willing to make the play. So we'll see how much being locked in Ancient Power matters, but locking in Ancient Power is just bad, because I think Ford would be in a much stronger position with Tailwind up and being locked into a Psychic move, because then the Slitherwing is much more threat. But now that it's locked into Ancient Power,
it just looks odd. I feel like you have to
just
switch to reset. I don't see
awkward. Yeah, surprisingly, the Chandelier comes out, which seems to almost be inviting the ancient power into the slot. It does have a rock terror, but rock isn't resistant to rock. So I am just presuming that the Chandelier protects and the Slitherwing tries to attack into the Articuno. But I expect that if the Articuno if the Slitherwing wants to stay in, it might actually have to respect the Fletchling flying move offensively because I mean there's only so many moves that the Fletchling can run, right? Like I wouldn't be surprised if
Yeah,
Fletchling's
I don't
Fletchling's at least
as
running like
much at all.
it might actually pick up the Slitherwing. I'm not sure. And you do see the Chandelier coming in on the choice locked Ancient Power, opts to not click Protect, gets KO'd anyway by a critical hit. Unsure the critical hit matters. It might not have. We saw the Chandelier go down. No, it doesn't matter because we saw Chandelier go down to the Specs Freezing Glare turn 1, which means that the Specs Ancient Power, again, same base power, always would have killed. So Micky 100% knew that the Ancient Power, even without the crit, should have killed the Chandelier. So just not bringing the Chandelier in while the Tailwind is up, knowing that it's choice locked, and not clicking Protect with it is so greedy because Slitherwing doesn't die to the Articuno. That seems to be a very, very much hit scratcher from Micky, which is almost going to certainly lose her this game too. And the Ancient Power boost gets off. I'm not sure if that matters because I assume the Slitherwing is not going to target the Articuno. Okay, I mean, U-turn comes out. Micky does reset the first impression, and if this is Specs, it's not going to be able to click Protect to dodge the first impression. But yeah, I'm just not sure why the U-turn need to click into the Fletchling. Doesn't seem to be a threat in the slightest. But yeah, okay, first impression comes out. It doesn't have Protect. You still do get one more turn of Tailwind, and you see that its last move is actually Quick Attack, which could break something like a Sturdy from the Magnet Zone, which I'm presuming it is. So I think what we're going to see is a Quick Attack plus EQ just to remove the Magnet Zone. That would be my guess. Or like ground move high horsepower. Oh, close combat. Oh, that is bad from Ford. Yeah, I presume that like it definitely has a ground move, but wasn't willing to click the ground move because it's high horsepower and he didn't want to risk the miss. And he thought close combat would kill, but it fails to get the KO because Magnusson is actually pretty physically defensive, naturally. And so he ends up losing his Crocodile.
If he doesn't
And
have
now,
Earthquake, that seems like such a throw. He's running Articuno and the Tailwind Setter. They're both flying.
yes, and it is Scarf Moxie, so like I kind of somewhat expect it to be Earthquake. Like or at least I feel like it should be an Earthquake with again double flying and your Moxie Scarf. I feel like it should be Earthquake, but that's the only explanation I can see as to why he clicked Close Combat instead. Yeah, because it's Terra Fire Magnet Zone, which would have even more lift to Close Combat and still would have taken a lot from the Earthquake. So.
Oh yeah, I remember this
Um,
got discussed afterwards. He said he just didn't think of Earthquake until someone said it.
Ow.
New teams, new nerves, etc.
But it's like Close Combat is a super effective move, but Earthquake is even more super effective. And Stab.
Yeah, it would have been insanely good in that circumstance.
Yeah, now yeah, I think this Toad Scroll once again, Toad has been very greedy and has not run an attacking move on it.
I tend to agree
And
here.
so
That's
and
the
here you
vibe
see
I'm
duality
getting
of
as well.
yeah, you see a very clear duality of men. Ford has an incredible clean clinical game against a great player like Lit 11. And here just fucking folds over and dies to Micky, who is a strong combat from Mickey's week 1 games, but I still don't think she necessarily played insanely well. I think Ford just played worse, I can't lie. But I mean, win's a win. I shouldn't be shit talking people in this league. Everyone here is like kind of learning. That's my bad. I mean 2-0 for it, what can I say, right?